What is up, everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down UFC 307, Salt Lake City. It's a good card. However, the matchmaking is absolutely abysmal for this card. A lot of people have been saying that this doesn't even feel like an Alex Pereira fight week, which is true because a lot of people expect him to walk through Khalil Rountree. I think he's like the number 8 ranked guy. I mean, imagine this card if we would have had Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. Like, that's a main event. That's a main event that you worry about. That's a main event that a lot of people would be split on. This, however, everyone pretty much is picking Alex Pereira for a few reasons. I'm going to get into who I think is going to win and why. So, I think Alex Pereira obviously is going to win first round knockout. I did watch the tape for this fight, and I did watch Khalil Rountree, his fights. And what did I think? So, the first fight I watched was the Anthony Smith fight. Obviously, I watched it live. Khalil, he looked good in that fight. He did look good. He was landing good shots. I realized with Khalil he doesn't have a ton of power. He has thud. Like, you could hear his kicks, you could hear his shots. He throws a lot into them, but they don't necessarily rock people. Like, he never truly rocked Jacoby, and Jacoby's pretty chinny. So that's really not a good sign. Because if he's not going to knock out Alex Pereira, he's going to have to go 5 rounds with him and not get knocked out. And what I saw in that fight is I didn't even have to watch Rountree's fight to know that he was going to lose. I could have stopped in the first 3 minutes because Anthony Smith, of all people, Anthony Smith, the elite striker, caught him clean with a left hook in the first 3 minutes. I think it was around the 2-minute mark. I could have just stopped there, but I didn't. Anthony Smith actually looked good in that fight. I remember watching it live and thinking oh wow, Anthony Smith, he's horrible. But compared to his recent fights, especially with Dolidze, he looks so much better in that fight. He was washed in that fight, but now he's just unbelievably washed. So yeah, I'm going with Pereira. Rountree is good. He's a good striker. I don't think that the wrestling even matters because Khalil, even if he's never shot a takedown, so we don't know. Khalil, he's not a wrestler. And is Alex Pereira that bad at grappling that he can't stuff a takedown from Khalil Rountree? And even if Rountree takes him down, is he going to submit him? No, I just don't think that. I think Alex Pereira, his grappling has improved every fight. And if Ihor can't take him down, who's, I get, not a grappler, but he still is a solid grappler at least. If he can't take him down, is Khalil going to do that? I don't think so. I know Strickland said that Khalil sucks at wrestling. I'm not really going to take too much from that, but still, it does mean something, you know? So I am picking Alex Pereira pretty confidently. But yeah, the rest of the card, Pennington, Pena. I'm going with Pennington by boring decision. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, I did not watch the tape for this. And first off, there's a few reasons why I didn't. One, that's just a big waste of time. I'm not going to rewatch Pennington versus Silva. I just can't do that. I can't bring myself to do that. Pena, I have no clue what dirt she has on the UFC. She's getting a title shot after not fighting for over 2 years. And that fight, her last fight, she got dominated. I mean, she thinks that she's Stipe or something. I have no clue what the UFC is doing. It should be Kayla Harrison versus Pennington. Because at least we probably won't go 25 minutes, you know? So that's another issue. But I don't really care about this fight. I guess it's a lose-lose. Because Pennington, if she wins, she's so boring. It's going to be awful. But Pena is so annoying. She's insufferable. I don't really care who wins. I guess I'll go Pennington, but yeah. Jose Aldo, Bautista. This is the one fight on the card that I'm not sure about. The past 2 cards I've picked, I've done awful on. I promise, before I started this channel, I actually was on fire with picks. I got, I think 10 or 11 main event pay-per-views in a row. Second, I start the channel. Marab just absolutely destroys Sean O'Malley. Not destroys him, but, beats him shockingly to me. And now this fight, this is the one fight I'm not sure about. And the reason I'm not sure is because I also watched the tape for this fight. And these guys, I mean, although he's fought everyone, But I don't know how their styles are going to match up. Because Aldo, yes, he looked good in his last fight. 30-27. And he arguably he could have got a finish in the third if he didn't wrestle. But the issue that I have is that was a very slow-paced fight. So Martinez, he was kind of just going at Aldo's pace, and Aldo has never been a guy that's good cardio. And this is at Salt Lake City, where he last lost when he was there versus Merab. Even though there's not much to take from that Merab fight, because Bautista isn't probably not going to shoot takedowns. If Bautista shoots a takedown, it's going to be that it's only because he wants to land shots off of the break, which he's very good at. Versus that Ricky Simone fight, he was landing a lot of good shots after the clinch, in the clinch. And I know he's not going to take down Aldo. He is a good grappler too. Bautista, though, he's not like Martinez because he fights at a crazy pace. A lot of the commentators, I think Bisping was like, oh, one thing about Ricky Simone is he is not going to slow down. You cannot keep up with him. And Ricky Simone was gassed in the third, and Bautista was still pushing. That was like an insane fight. And then the Blackshear fight, you can't really take much from that because Blackshear is a grappler. So again, the styles don't really match. They don't have any similar stylistic matchups in like their past few fights. But who am I picking? I think that, oh God, this is actually so tough. Aldo I think has the better boxing, but Bautista could just overwhelm him, and Aldo could gas in the third. He could get knocked out. Although Bautista doesn't have a ton of power, and he has been knocked down before, I think that this is a fight where if Aldo doesn't get him out of there within the first or early second, he's probably going to lose the fight. I don't know by knockout, but probably just lose a decision. Oh, fuck. I'm going to go with Bautista. I really want Aldo to win. I just think Bautista is going to win. I'm going with Bautista by a 29-28 decision. Close decision. Another reason is because Aldo, anytime towards like the end of the second round, he was on the back foot. He was having a lot less success against Martinez. And Bautista is probably going to put him on the back foot. So that's another reason I'm going with Bautista. Kayla Harrison, Ketlen Vieira. I tried to watch the tape for this. I swear I tried. Because I remember the Kayla Harrison Holly Holm fight. I don't need to rewatch that. The Ketlen Vieira fight, I tried watching her versus Holly Holm. Tell me why she's been in like 3 main events, 5 rounds. So already I was like, oh God. I tried to watch the Holly Holm fight. I swear I tried. I could not make it past the first round. It was so boring. I'm not watching tape. Ketlen Vieira should not be as much of an underdog as she is because she does have good judo. She's a solid grappler. But the same could be kind of said for Holly Holm. So I'm going with Kayla Harrison. I'm confident that she's going to win, but she shouldn't be like an 8-1 favorite. That's kind of crazy. But moving on, Kevin Holland, Roman Dolidze, main card opener. Another fight that's kind of tough to call. I'm going with Kevin Holland, lighter man skill. Maybe by knockout because Dolidze has been, he's been knocked down before. But the problem with Dolidze is I don't think he's as bad as people say. His game plan versus Anthony Smith, it was a smart game plan. The problem is that he has great submissions. He's great on the ground, phenomenal on the ground, very dangerous. His wrestling is so atrocious, he can never take it to the ground. So the only time he wins is like when Jack Hermanson like shoots a takedown and has 0 IQ. But Kevin Holland, not a smart fighter in the slightest. One of the most annoying fighters in my opinion. I want to like him so bad, but he's so annoying. I hate that attitude of like, he's too afraid to find out if he's good enough. So he'd rather like fight stupidly so that he has an excuse. Kind of like a John Jones-esque type of way of fighting. But I think he is good enough to beat Dolidze, lighter man skill. I think he is the better striker, and Kevin Holland is a good grappler, and I don't think he's going to get taken down. But yeah, I'm going with Kevin Holland. Buckley versus Wonder Boy. I've been saying Buckley is going to win this for a while, simply because his takedowns are super explosive, and Wonder Boy, he doesn't have the greatest takedown defense. I think Buckley is just going to out-wrestle him in 2 of the 3 rounds. And I think that he's going to win a 29-28 decision. Probably wins the first, maybe loses the second, wins the third. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe Wonder Boy retires, hopefully not, because he doesn't look washed. But he's 41, I think almost 42. Eventually he's going to get in there and he's going to look awful. I'm not betting on Wonder Boy. I think Buckley's going to win. Rodriguez versus Lucindo. Honestly, I was going to pick Rodriguez. I was like, oh, Lucindo, she's only like 22, which is insane for the amount of fights that she has. Very young prospect. Rodriguez is like 37. I think like 1 in 4 in her last 5. But the reason I'm picking Lucindo, again, no tape watch in this fight, solely because I look at the two and I'm like, okay, Lucindo's going to win. I can't pick a WMMA fight. I'm not going to waste my time watching the tape. But yeah, I'm picking Lucindo by decision. Esparza, Tecia Pennington. I think that she's just kind of like I think that she's going to catch her maybe like with the left or something, put her down. But yeah, no, I've not watched tape. I'm not rewatching Esparza versus Namajunas. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to... And Pennington, she hasn't fought in like 2 years or something. Very inactive. Esparza is also inactive. I'm going to go with Pennington just off of vibes. Esparza, this is her last fight. Outside of Robbie Lawler, no one wins their retirement fight, so I'm going with Pennington. I think her wife is on the card, so yeah, that'll like help motivate her. But yeah, I'm going with Pennington. Ryan Spann, OSP. I could see Ryan Spann losing this because he sucks. But I'm going to go with Ryan Spann by knockout because OSP is chinny, even though he won his last fight. But Ryan Spann, he's not good, but he does hit hard. And I forgot his name, the guy Anthony Smith lookalike. But their last fight I rewatched, Ryan Spann was actually landing good shots that would put most people out. But the other guy, he just had a great chin. And Ryan Spann doesn't have the greatest chin himself. But I don't think OSP is going to put him out because OSP, his wins are like split decisions against like not good opponents. So I'm going to go with Ryan Spann. He knocked out Dominic Reyes. He can't be that bad. But I'm going with Ryan Spann. Cesar Almeida, the kickboxer, versus Ihor. I'm going with Almeida. Great on the feet. He was making Kopylov shoot on him. And he outstruck Kopylov, which is insane. He's great on the feet, powerful. Ihor is chinny. So that's kind of a recipe for disaster. The one problem is Almeida. If you're getting out-grappled by Kopylov, you have absolutely no takedown defense. Almeida's grappling is what people think Alex Pereira's grappling is, I swear. But regardless, I think Almeida's going to find the shot. Unless Ihor is secretly, I guess, like an elite grappler, Almeida, I think he's going to win. Tim Means, Court McGhee, going with Tim Means. Again, two guys that are washed. Don't really care about this fight. Not going to waste your time. Didn't watch the tape for this fight. I did watch a lot of tape, but for the fights, I just don't care about. I'm like the WMMA fights. And like this fight, I'm not going to watch tape for it. So I'm going with Tim Means. Opening up the card, Hernandez, Hubbard. I always pick Hernandez and he always loses, and I'm going to do it again. Austin Hubbard, his fight for the Ultimate Fighter, I think it was the Sean O'Malley card in Boston last year. And I think he lost that fight, and he did not look good at all. And his last fight, he won. He looked good. I think it was against like Figlak. But Figlak, he looked like shit. He looked horrible. He was fighting stupidly. So not surprised that he lost. Hernandez arguably could have won his last fight. I still think that Hernandez is a good fighter. I think that his confidence is just kind of destroyed. But I think he's good enough to at least beat Hubbard. If he loses this fight, he's probably out of the UFC, unfortunately. But I like Hernandez. I think he's going to win. But yeah, those are all my picks for UFC 307. Confident on most of them, not going to lie. I think that this will be my best card. There's like 12 fights. Hopefully I get like 9 or so right. But yeah, let me know what picks you disagree with, who you have in the main event, the Aldo fight, everything. But yeah, that's it for me.